Laker fans, what's going on? My name is Sammy Long. This is another Laker preview video, giving you some things to watch out for in the upcoming Laker matchup. The Brooklyn Nets are coming to Los Angeles. The Brooklyn Nets are not a very good team. I'm going to get into what happened the other night against the Clippers, one of the most insane NBA final scores you'll ever see in your life. But a lot of storylines with this one. D'Angelo Russell returning to LA, taking on the Lakers since the trade. First time since the trade. Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton coming over for Maxwell Lewis and D'Angelo Russell and some picks. This one should have some juicy storylines, even though the Nets aren't a good team. So we'll get to them in a little bit. Talk about some two big lineups, some lineup changes I think that JJ Redick talked about, which could help the Lakers defensively. But first, let's talk about the Lakers snapping the skid, snapping the 3-game losing streak. Huge win. Did not look good. Did not look good for a large part of that game. At halftime, it really felt like a low point. It felt like a turning point for the season. And before everyone goes, a win over the Heat, turning point, I get it. But if the Lakers had lost that game, I think we were right back to where we were a month ago, where we're talking about selling off the team, trading everyone to get assets. I mean, you talk about having a really good time around Christmas and New Year's Eve to then you lose to Houston. Okay, you lose to Houston on their home floor. Houston's a good team. And the Lakers did fight back in that game. Dallas loss was inexcusable. You're losing to Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Dante Exum. That cannot happen or without all those players. And then the Spurs game the other day where you're looking at the Lakers had a really good first half and then had an 11-point lead in the third quarter, let that dissipate, and they go on to win by 24, 126-102. So this was a game when they were up double digits at half. It was like the Lakers have to win this game. You can't lose to a Jimmy Butler-less Heat. Now, I'm still going to give the Lakers credit for the win because the Heat are a good team. They've been playing without Jimmy Butler for a while now because of the suspension. Tyler Herro has really ascended his game to the next level. He really is. I think the league's got to look at Tyler Herro a little bit differently. What he's been able to do in 2 games against the Lakers, absolutely destroyed the Lakers. Bam Adebayo, amazing center, one of the best young players in the game. And they got a lot of guys on that team, Highsmith and Jaquez and Duncan Robinson. So I'm going to give the Lakers credit for it. It was huge that they were able to fight back and win. You could tell the crowd just got so into it when they fought back because I think people knew how important that game was. That was a game you couldn't lose, and we would be having major questions about this team. Not that they're all resolved because you beat the Heat, but that was an inexcusable loss. Had it been a loss coming off the Spurs in Mavs game, that just couldn't happen. You need to get a little revenge, too, for them beating you by 40 on their home floor just a month ago. So LeBron, what he did down the stretch, unbelievable. Fourth quarter, hitting 3 after 3, AD 22 points. Rui Hachimura, I think, was the real MVP of this game. Him and Gabe Vincent with 23 points. When Rui Hachimura is giving you 23 points, that's a real recipe for success. Part of the problem with the last few games is Rui Hachimura has not been hitting the stat sheet very well offensively. He had 9 points the other night. And it really just wasn't much of a factor offensively, and that just can't happen. The Lakers' success really is tied to how other guys step up besides AD and LeBron, because we know they're going to bring it every night, as evidenced by LeBron taking over the game in the fourth quarter. Reeves had 14, Christie 16, Hayes had 4, Shake Milton had 0. He only played a few minutes. Dalton Connect had 2. Tough night for him. Gabe Vincent, though, 14 points on 6 of 9 shooting. He was ginormous as well. Coming off the bench, hit some really tough shots when the game felt like it was teetering on that 10, 12-point margin where it could have got out of hand. The Lakers could still be in it. Hit some big threes in the game. And then Finney-Smith didn't play for personal reasons. And Reddish didn't play. Reddish didn't play in the game. I thought it was interesting considering how good Tyler Herro was playing early. And I know Cam Reddish has struggled a little bit recently. He had a really tough night the other night, 1 of 7 shooting. Missed some bunnies, too, in that game against the Spurs. But I was surprised they didn't put him in when Herro was going off so much. Maybe that's because Reddish doesn't provide much offensively and the Lakers had to get back in the game. But be curious to see if he plays a little bit more against the Nets. But looking to something JJ Redick said about 2 big lineups, given the Lakers' recent defensive struggles, JJ Redick said they will take a look at some 2 big lineups again in small doses moving forward. That was per Daniel Starkland of Lakers Nation. This is interesting. So as of today, Trey Jemison has signed with the Lakers. They actually cut Quincy Olivari. It was kind of surprising because Olivari did have some nice moments, especially in the G League and Summer League and stuff like that. But they signed Trey Jemison to a 2-way contract. So he's 6'11", 275 pounds, runs the Lakers after suiting up in 16 contests for the New Orleans Pelicans this season. He averaged almost 2 points a game, on about 3 rebounds, and about 10 minutes. And he's 25 years old. So last year in the 2023-2024 season, he averaged about 7 points a game, about 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and about 23 minutes per game. And that was with the Grizzlies and the Wizards. So Redick talked about how, this small ball kind of lineups really don't work defensively. And the Lakers really got to do something because they aren't a good defensive team. Hell, the Heat got really whatever they wanted. The Lakers just made tougher shots down the stretch. I wonder if they would have went to this earlier had Christian Wood not been hurt all season. He's out again. There's no real timetable on him coming back. And then Jackson Hayes hurt for a little while, so they really couldn't do 2 big lineups. Now I'm curious to see, do they go to that? He said they're going to do it in small doses early, but obviously, AD is going to be playing Jackson Hayes. Do you throw Jackson Hayes in there with him? Do you try Djansezian? When Wood's back, hopefully Wood returns, he'll be. But I think that would be beneficial for the Lakers because it's something that if the Lakers could at least try to dominate the glass, because some games the Lakers have not rebounded the ball well offensively. And in these 2 big lineups, I really think could cause some problems for other teams, especially because we see other teams' opposing guards just really have their way. And unless AD's swatting shots away, they just kind of get to the rack whenever they wanted to. And Rui talked about it in the last game. He talked about how the short corner, AD would step up in these to stop guards who got past the first line of defense. And they were just dumping down low in the short corner and getting easy buckets. The Spurs really took advantage of it. Chris Paul was obviously, big-time NBA vet. Saw that, and they were just decimating them in the short corner for easy dunks, easy shots. The 2 big lineups could stop that. 2 big lineups, you're going to have to hit from the outside. Now, again, some teams that shoot the ball really well, you can't do this. And again, he talked about doing it in small doses, but it would be nice to mix that in a little bit and try to play some sides because AD and Jackson Hayes run around down there. Could be a problem for some teams and provide some different looks that in today's NBA, you don't see a ton of 2 big lineups. I'd like to see the Lakers try it out and see if Djansezian pops. Hey, that'd be great. He's a young player, so who knows? We can't get too excited. I'm not going to sit here and act like Trey Djansezian's a superstar because he's not, but he could help the team. So I'm happy they got him. Looking at the Nets specifically. So talked about earlier, D'Lo returning. That's kind of the big storyline of this game. The Nets are not a good team. What happened the other night, the Clippers beat them 126-67. Yes, 126-67. It's the 10th worst loss in NBA history. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They had won the previous game before this, but I mean that loss was just inexcusable. That's just a lack of effort. I don't know. You lose by that many points. This is the professionals playing, and I don't even know how that happens. But so in this game, looking at the injury report, AD and LeBron are probable. Dorian Finney-Smith is still doubtful for personal reasons, so something going on there. He won't be there. And then normal Shafino, Wood, and Vanda were all out for them. Bojan Bogdanovic is out. Trendon Watford is out. Cam Thomas is out. That's a big loss for them. Maxwell Lewis, former Laker, obviously out. And Cameron Johnson's a game-time decision. He leads the team in scoring with about 20 points per game, so he's a good player for them. The Lakers are favored by 11.5. The total set at 219.5, as I would say for all you gamblers out there. Lakers are expected to dominate. This is the kind of game that you want to see the Lakers actually dominate and not win by 2 points or, God forbid, lose this game, because the Lakers have had trouble against teams that they should beat. This has been a problem. The inconsistencies of this year. Looking at the team specifically, Zaire Williams, Noah Clowney, Nick Claxton, Tyrese Martin, Keon Johnson, they made out the starting lineup. D'Lo missed the game against the Clippers. He was dealing with shin soreness, right shin contusion, and Ben Simmons is dealing with a lower back injury. So Ben Simmons, D'Lo, and Cam Johnson, those are the 3 kind of bigger star players, I guess. Off the bench, Jalen Wilson out of Kansas. He's in his 3rd or 4th year. He's a nice player. He had 16 points the other night. Forward, he can get to the basket, create his own shot. Lakers got to keep an eye on him. Derek Whitehead comes off the bench. Day'Ron Sharpe, a guy who was kind of linked to the Lakers in some trade discussions last year, this year. He comes off the bench for them, and Reese Beekman. So some of these guys, they're not a good team. They're not a good team. This team is trying to tank. They're trying to get a big-time pick. But JJ Redick talked about it today. He said on D'Angelo Russell, per Daniel Starkland, again, of Lakers Nation, Redick said, I expect him to come out and try to have a great game. He does not have a lack of competitiveness. He takes a lot of pride in who he is as a player. I'm expecting him to try to go at us tomorrow. So Technically, we don't know if he's playing. I would be very surprised if D'Lo's not wanting to play his old team and give the Lakers a little payback. So the Lakers got to do something on D'Lo. I'm sure D'Lo's going to jack up a bunch of shots, trying to kind of get back at him. And D'Lo, as we know, D'Lo could be a very frustrating player, but I mean, he was streaky. There were times that was what's so frustrating with D'Lo, I think, is that sometimes he would be a no-show on the stat sheet, and then other times he would drop 30 because he's just kind of what he is. When D'Lo's locked in, he can be a very dangerous player. I'm sure he's going to be locked in for this game against the Lakers, against his old team. So, again, Lakers favored by 11.5 points. They should win the game. It'd be nice to build a little momentum after those 3 losses, beat the Heat, beat Brooklyn. Then you're playing the Clippers, which is always a tough matchup. It's in at the Intuit Dome. And then got the Wizards. So it's a schedule that you look at that's very manageable. Lakers could string some wins together. But, with the Lakers, you can never get ahead because you don't know what team's going to show up. So but the Lakers show up, they play their game, they play like they did in the second half against the Heat, they should win this game pretty handily and get another W. So hopefully that's what we're talking about. Alan's going to get you guys on his show and then doing the post-game show. And again, as always, hopefully we're talking about a Laker W, and I'll be back for a preview for the Clipper game. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope everyone's having a good day, and see you guys next time. Thank you.